So, what is the mortal enemy of the woke, progressive, modern leftist movement? Well, reality, of course. And what do they do when they run into reality? Well, they try and cancel it. And it's the only thing they can really do because reality, it puts up a pretty good argument. And that's how we get here. How a cyber attack tried to stop you from watching Matt Walsh's What is a Woman? Now, this is a new documentary from the Daily Wire. I watched the beginning of it this morning. It's very good so far. I'm looking forward to watching the rest of it tonight when I have time. But it's pretty clear right from the beginning that leftists are not going to like this documentary. They're not going to like it at all. Because it turns out when you ask them the question, what is a woman? They're not really quite sure. All they seem to know is that they don't like being asked the question. Anyway, says on Wednesday night, the documentary, in which commentator Matt Walsh upends the gender ideology movement by asking one simple question, premiered via live stream to Daily Wire subscribers. However, many users had difficulty accessing the film as the Daily Wire site was hammered with 1 million requests per minute. And this is called a distributed denial of service attack, in which hackers disrupt a website by flooding it with bot traffic. And Daily Wire co-CEO Jeremy Boring said, "We are working to address these challenges in real time. Even so, the premiere had more viewers than any stream in the history of the site. A huge success for an amazing film." And when I was watching it this morning, I didn't have any problems at all, so it looks like it's fixed. But he continued, quote, "Someone doesn't want you to see this movie. See it anyway." But who is the someone who doesn't want you to see this movie? Well, obviously, it's radical leftists. And, again, this is the only weapon that they have, is to try and shut down anybody who dissents from their ideology. Because they don't have an argument. Apparently, all they seem to know is that if something feels far left or radical or revolutionary in some way, it must be good. Does it make any sense? Doesn't matter. Does it help people or hurt people? Doesn't matter. Is it objectively false? Doesn't matter. Viva la revolution, comrade. Anyway, What is a Woman became available to Daily Wire subscribers on the first day of Pride Month. That's cheeky. But in which some LGBTQ activists ramp up their efforts to promulgate radical gender ideology. And, it's interesting, isn't it? It's like, what happened to the gays and lesbians? They seem to have been bullied out of their own movement. You remember this from Bill Maher?
Chase, by the way, has just been named one of the grand marshals of this year's New York City Pride March, along with 3 other trans people and a lesbian. What's missing here? Oh, right, a gay man. That's where we are now. Gay men aren't hip enough for the gay pride parade.
Because it seems to me like the G's and the L's might be in somewhat of a conflict with the T's. Because the T's seem to think that any child that shows any stereotypical gender preferences that's different from their biological sex automatically makes them trans. And you'd think that the G's and the L's would have something to say about that. I mean, it actually feels like it's not good enough just to be gay or lesbian anymore. In fact, we're probably about 2 weeks away from that being transphobic. But anyway, the film tackles issues such as sex change operations and hormone blockers for children, transgender athletes' upending of women's sports, and university gender studies departments. Quote, "It's the most important documentary in America," Ben Shapiro said. "That's why so many people want to stop you from seeing it." Let's watch a little clip here before we end this video.
Male gametes. That's what makes me male.
No, your sperm don't make you male.
Then what does?
It's a constellation.
In reality, in truth, okay?
Whose truth are we talking about?
The same truth that says we're sitting in this room right now, you and I.
No, you're not listening.
If I see a chicken laying eggs and I say that's a female chicken laying eggs, did I assign female, or am I just observing a physical reality that's happening in the world?
Does a chicken have gender identity? Does a chicken cry?
Well,
Does a chicken commit suicide? Let's
does that have to do
frame
with-
it, because you're trying
A chicken has sex like any
a chicken
biological
has
organism.
an assigned gender, but a chicken doesn't have a gender identity.
So we assign female to chickens when they lay eggs?
We assume they're female if they lay eggs.
Yeah, these people are crazy. This is why they go after libs of TikTok. They don't want what they actually say to be seen widely, because they know normal people, the vast majority of people, will look at it and go, no, that ain't right. But anyway, he didn't just talk to crazy people. He also interviewed clinical psychologist Jordan Peterson, theologian Carl Truman, and multiple women forced to compete against biological men in sports, including a female teammate of transgender swimmer Leah Thomas. Despite the hacker's best efforts, the premiere of What is a Woman was the most trafficked live stream the Daily Wire has ever experienced, and the company added more paid subscribers than any other previous day in its history. So they failed. The hackers failed. And it feels like things might be turning. They might be turning. That might be a feeling that the radical leftists might have to get used to. You know, the feeling of failing. Because the magic spell they've been casting by intoning the sacred words of bigot and phobe, well, that spell seems to be breaking. It's coming into conflict with reality, and I think reality is starting to win. And regular people understand you cannot care what adults do to their own bodies. You can say, that's none of my business. And at the same time believe that no, we shouldn't be doing a giant sociological experiment on a generation of children. That no, children cannot give informed consent for things like hormone blockers. A child cannot give informed consent to chemically castrate themselves, for example. And there's certainly nothing phobic about that. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you just like to listen, there's the audio-only version. It's on pretty much every podcast platform. If you look for it, you will find it. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.